Okay. Welcome to our illustrious afternoon strategy panel. Woohoo! Glad to have you all here. Let's just do a real quick round of introductions so that we just reconnect with you and who you are and what you're doing. So, one sentence, not the 20-minute version, just the 1-2 sentence version, since we have such a big illustrious group here. So let's say, Deb, let's start with you and we'll just go around the panel here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Deb Coman. I'm a content conversion strategist, and I help service-based business owners use their content to generate trust that ignites sales, referrals, and collaborations.
Nice. All right, let's pass the mic to Maruxa.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here with you guys. I help entrepreneurs, service providers, and coaches really look at and create 6-figure Facebook groups and other online communities. Good to be here.
Nice. Love to have you. Jen, you're up.
Hey everyone, Jennifer Henzcel from Vancouver, BC, Canada, and I'm the founder of Inspired Influencers and the Women in Podcasting VIP Club, and I help people build communities that convert.
Juicy. Oh, we lost Karen. Okay, hopefully she'll be back. Sam, we'll pass the mic to you next.
Hi everyone, I'm Samantha Riley. Wrong Sam.
Sorry, you were a little out of sync. There you go.
Okay. Australian internet. I'm an authority positioning strategist and host of the Thought Leaders Business Lab podcast, and I help experts become the thought leader that people turn to.
Love. Okay, great. Lou, and then we'll pop to Karen.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks, Melanie. I'm Lou Bortone. I'm a video marketing consultant and part-time pug wrangler.
Oh, nice. Love the Italian scenery in the background, by the way. Nice little subliminal reinforcement. Karen, you able to join us on video? Oh, dude, we lost her again. Okay, well, hopefully she'll be back. All right. Well, we have had quite the day so far, and we have covered everything from mindset to we deep dived into the Revenue Rush roadmap and really figuring out how to bring all the pieces together. We've just started to talk about collaboration, and now we're going to do a little spotlight on what it takes to get the how, the strategy, right? Karen, are you able to introduce yourself there?
Yeah, we're having some issues here in Mexico.
No worries. Well, we can see your picture and your voice.
Great, if you can hear me. So what would you like to know?
Oh, sorry. We were just having everybody do like the 1-sentence introduction about what you do.
Oh, yes, of course. And I know so many of you already. Well, welcome everyone. I'm Karen McGregor, and I own a company called Speaker Success Formula where
Front row. All right. Well, when she comes back, we'll have her introduce herself in the chat. So, all right. So here's what we're going to do. I had asked our community what questions they had for you. What is the burning question, the thing they feel stuck around, the thing that's holding them up? And I got a lot of really, really great questions from people. So Karen, why don't you do me a favor and pop in the chat what your introduction is, and then that way it lands there, and we'll have everybody share a little bit anyway. So one of the big questions that came in.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thank you. And I love this question because it's all about simplicity, right? Sometimes when we have lots of stuff on our plate, just like bringing our focus to the most simple thing we can do is where we can get some real traction. What's one thing I can do every week to create more visibility and execute? So we'll do a quick round. So these are short, concise, not the super long stories, but short, concise answers. Who wants to go first from our panel?
I'll go first.
Thanks, Lou.
Usually ladies first, but today boys first.
Yeah, we love that.
So one thing you can do every week is a really quick, simple, easy video, Facebook Live, a quick YouTube tip. It's going to give you a ton of visibility and traction.
Love it. Thanks. And I agree. Who wants to jump in next? Deb,
I'll
then
jump in
Maruxa.
next.
Okay.
Sure. Love what Lou shared. And if you do video or can learn from Lou how to do video, absolutely. If not that, I would say create your own content in another format and share it online on social media. And even prior to that, if you're not even to the creation stage at this point, engage with what's already out there first. And you can go a long way without creating your own content and just engaging what's already out there on the platforms.
Love that. That ties right into your gifts you gave in the giveaway. Super, super savvy. Maruxa.
Yeah, I'd say one of my favorite things to do, because I'm a person that sees lots of shiny objects and wants to do all the things, is to put myself on a schedule. And so one of the best things I've done for myself is I have twice a month content creation day. And it sounds scarier than it is. It's not like it has to be 3 hours or anything like that. But basically, I use a system that I created called Win Win Wink. And it's part of my content prompts. It was free gift, one of the free gifts we've given here. But that being said, utilizing that and then really taking my content and breaking it into smaller pieces and putting into this system, scheduling out the content ahead of time so that I know that content's going out regularly has been a godsend. And just knowing that two Mondays every month I can do that, it makes it so much easier for me to know it's going to get done.
Great tip. Thank you. Jen, Sam, Karen, anybody want to jump in next?
Can you tell me unfortunately my internet is spotty. Tell me the question again, Melanie.
Sure. So let me just repeat the question is, what's one thing I can do every week to create visibility and execute?
Okay, wonderful. Well, I think myself, I'm huge on results, not so much on only visibility. So I think booking our speaking gigs, booking our webinars, and being in front of people, whether you can directly sell or not, that's something, I've been on stage with Tony Robbins and all these, gurus that are incredible. And one thing that they all have in common is that they have the consistency. So when you are consistent, whether you're able to sell or not, you get the visibility, but on top of that, you're consistently drawing in the sales and the new clients. So I think that's the number one thing I would do.
Love that. Thank you. Jen, Sam, you guys want to chime in on anything there?
Yeah, I'll chime in here. So I think the biggest part of being visible is actually making sure that to a schedule. So setting a time that you're going to go live or upload your video every single week is the best way to hold yourself accountable, because being visible is about accountability. And the other thing is, going off the back of what everyone else said, is to use some sort of system to be able to create your content and make sure that it's consistently in alignment with your authority.
Thank you. Great one. Jen, want to wrap us up on this?
For sure. One of the biggest lessons I learned was from working with nonprofit clients. One of my clients in particular has a large event every year, and it's just this one large event every year. And they said, how can we, build our audience throughout the rest of the year? And I said, by sharing other people's stuff. And that really reminded me, you know what, if I don't have something to share that week, then I'm going to be sharing someone else's stuff. I'm going to be sharing Melanie's stuff or some other collaborator that has value to bring to my audience. I'm going to be sharing what they have to offer. So it's not just all about our products and offerings, but how can we bring value to our community that's also going to raise our credibility and visibility?
Boom. Perfect segue to the next question. Thanks, Jen, for setting that up. Another question that came in, and I love this question because we're going to move into collaboration pods right after this panel. Somebody asked, what are you looking for when you say yes to a collaboration partner? So it could be character, it could be opportunity, it could be like an energy, but what is it that you look for that gets you to yes to promote or partner with somebody in some way? So let's change it up a little bit. Let's say, Sam, you want to go first on this one?
Absolutely. So for me, when I'm looking for a collaboration partner or looking to collaborate with someone, number one, I'm always looking for a values alignment. If someone can't take the time to chat with me there and make sure that we're aligned in our values, then it's straight out a no, because we spend so much time building our influence. Someone else can bring it down really, really quickly. So that's so important. That's my first go.
That's a great one. Thanks. And that fits very much in what we were just talking about, right? In terms of the must for collaboration. When I was going through that, value alignment, number one, are they aligned with my values? Who wants to go next? Yeah, Jen, please jump in.
For me, it's really seeing if they have their systems in place, if they have an awareness of just how it all works, and if they're going to be leading people towards value. So I want to see that they have a full funnel in place that leads towards something that's going to be of value to my audience.
Why is that important? Let's just unpack that slightly more, because I love what you just said. And I think we want to make sure, especially because some people may not understand funnel, how does that really play out in the long term with a valuable collaboration?
Well, if they have an offering at every level, so maybe they have a free or low cost offering, and then they have, a mid-range value of some kind, a membership or a mastermind, and then leading them towards the higher end offer. And this is just very generalized, but towards coaching or whatever their high end offer might be. And so it just shows that they know how collaboration works and how the whole business works, and how they can bring value to your clients. They're not going to be, bring your clients to a certain point and then just drop them and not serve them anymore. We're talking about everybody here is striving for lifelong service and connections and relationships. And so I look for that.
Love it. As you're listening in on the panel, if you get inspired with a question, I'll do my best to cover as many as we can. So feel free to jump into the chat, and you can share any new questions that are coming up for you. Who else would like to answer this one? What are you looking for in collaborations, Deb?
In addition to the values and the systems, like Jen and Samantha have said, it's the energetic connection that I have with them as an individual. And usually you can sense that in the first few seconds even. And if that's not there, I can just only guess that it's probably not going to be as smooth a road as it could be. So that's an important piece for me as well.
Yeah, well said. Maruxa, you want to add something?
I do. I resonate with everything that was also said. I think the other piece too, it's one of those little things that I do, but if I am in person at an event with somebody and let's say we're going out to dinner, I'm paying attention to how they treat the people around them, the servers, the everybody that's around. To me, it's kind of like one of my little tricks, it's like, and I know it's, now we're all much more virtual, but it is one of those things, like I want to see how people are being treated by the people I choose to partner with and work with, especially on bigger collaborations and opportunities. And when I see that there is that resonance, then I'll say, okay, let's go play. But otherwise it's one of those things where I really value the time of everybody that's in my audience and in my community. And so I want to make sure that the people we bring forth to them are going to care about them just as much as I do. So pay attention to that.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I want to just reinforce something that we're hearing. You're hearing more and more that energy matters. How you show up matters. Yes, Rhonda, totally. It's totally a protection of our audience, but it's also, we want to play with people that feel good to play with. And if you're bringing energy that doesn't feel good, it's not going to happen. Like I have some people that I think highly of, but doing collaborations with them does not feel good. So I stopped, and I love that you brought in the respect, Maruxa, because there are people, if they are disrespectful to me or my team, even we can have challenges and we can have misunderstandings, but if there is disrespect, then we lose the vibe. So Lou, you want to add anything into this conversation?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, from a practical standpoint, you want to make sure that your audience is in sync, and that maybe you've got a similar list size, but like folks have said, it's really more about being connected with your partner and making sure that, you, like you say, you can have fun with them, because you can say, oh, I'm just going to do this thing with Melanie, but the truth is we're working together for like 6 weeks or longer to do a small promotion. So you want to make sure that it's just going to be fun and easy along the way.
Yeah.
With you and others.
Yeah, thank you. And again, I really value each of you. One of the things that I mentioned earlier in about collaborations is we're playing a long game. This is not always about the short-term gain. And I just want to point out every single person on this panel I have known for years. I think, Sam, you're the person I've known the shortest amount of time, like 2.5 years, I think. And I say that because sometimes the right opportunity emerges at a different time. And if I tried to force it too early, like it may not have been right. And like the energy may not have been right. So really remember that long game is where a lot of these beautiful collaborations come from. Okay, well said, everybody. Let me see what is the next one I want to work towards. There were some great questions. Okay. This is going to be an interesting one for this panel. How might I build? Okay, so I read that wrong first. Okay, so how might I build a Go team of experts versus only focus on me as the expert? So let's say somebody's wanting to co-create with experts. Let's just say, what's your favorite way to collaborate with your go-to experts versus doing it alone? Make sense? Who wants to jump in? Well, I'll go first. I have several, as you know, like doing this giveaway is a fantastic way, but I love doing the interviews on my podcast. Sam and I are talking about this recently, where there's a spark that ignites when you're a good host and you're curious with your guests. You can create pure magic for your audience and your listeners and activate clarity and concepts that you could never get to on your own. So I would say my podcast and like gathering people into collaborative things like we just did with the giveaway. So anybody else have something that you want to add to that? How do you like to gather your Go team of experts? Sam.
Okay. I actually heard the question a little bit differently. So it was like, how do you actually find the experts?
Why don't you go with that?
All right. And I did want to go off the back of what you were talking about with the podcast there, because having a podcast gives you the opportunity to speak to someone for 20, 30, 40 minutes. And because you're able to ask them questions, you get to know them very well over that 40 minutes. So being the podcast host gives you the most amazing opportunity to find people that you may not have had the opportunity to collaborate with before. And it's just that very first opening point. You get to hear what they know, you get to hear their expertise, you get to know their values, what they stand for, because they're talking stories and strategy. And I think that having a podcast is the best way to attract collaboration partners.
I high five you on that one.
Oh.
I know Tracy has her podcast, and she was saying that that's one of her hot strategies too, is interviewing. Anybody else want to share something about how you interpreted the question? How might I build a Go team of experts versus only focus on me as the expert?
Yeah, I think in the vein of podcast having, or you could do like a video show, a video podcast as well. I think is another great option. And we have one called Coffee and Community Chat, and it's been I've called it the experiment that keeps going, because every episode we're constantly trying, and I let my guests know, like, I have no idea what you're going to say, but I'm going to be there with you, and we're going to experiment, see what shows up. And that's been a really fun way of really getting to know the personalities behind the brands as well. Again, it goes back to the question about resonance, and that we just kind of I spoke into a little bit, but it also has made it that much more fun, for me to be on the show. But yeah, so I enjoy video, so I've been doing it more in a video format.
Yeah, I just want to pull out something that Maruxa just shared, and it's a skill set when you're cultivating these collaborations and aligning with other go-to experts is curiosity. You know, curiosity is a superpower because curiosity allows you to uncover opportunity that may have been dormant. And curiosity is unattached, right? So if we're kind of unattached to where we're going and we just get curious, like Maruxa, one of the things I love about your coffee chat, because I joined you very early for me in the morning, was that you're very curious. Like that curiosity creates an interesting opportunity. And I mentioned for the panel this morning, Nikki Rausch, who several of us have interviewed, just super awesome show she does on mastering excellence. She used her superpower of curiosity to ask me questions I had never been asked before. And what came out of that conversation was just pure magic. It was one of my favorite conversations I've had in a long time. So curiosity, I think, is a way you can build that go team of experts. Be curious, how could we come together and do something that we can't do on our own? You don't even have to know what form it's going to take sometimes. So anybody else want to jump in on this one? Feel complete with it? Okay. Here's one of my questions for you, and then I'll come back to a couple more. But based on your expertise, what is the number one strategy you use to amplify your authority? Based on your expertise, what is your number one strategy you use to amplify your authority? And I will add attract paying clients, because Karen, who sadly can't be here 100% because of her internet connection, but Karen really tapped on something I think is important to remember. And that is that visibility without results doesn't really bring value in the long term. Okay. So Jen, yes.
For me, it's the email list. I mean, you know, people keep trying to predict that email is dead. No way. I mean, I've been doing email marketing since 1999, and my whole business all this time when I was a part-time entrepreneur and when I became a full-time entrepreneur is still at the core of my connection. It allows me to build deeper relationships with my potential clients and my clients. And it's still at the core of everything I do, whether I'm doing videos or not. The whole point is to get them onto my email list. And that's where most of my sales come from.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Thank you for sharing emails. Who else? What's your go-to strategy right now? Deb and then Lou?
I love email too, Jennifer, and also the people who say social media doesn't work are some of my can be favorite people, because when they learn that we're often making it a lot more hard and more challenging than it needs to be. And when we strip it down to a forum where we can create and generate trust with conversation, much like people do on a podcast when they do it well, is that you can just show up and engage with what's already out there and join the conversations that are happening, and then introduce your content to take it a step further and bring those relationships offline to the email list and other ways that we connect with people. And I just absolutely love it. And it brings so many new opportunities that really were there all along. Most of us are on the platforms and creating, and there's a really untapped wealth of opportunity there when we focus in on the connection and the trust and giving and engaging more than expecting back, and it comes.
And I just want to say, I think one of your magic, part of your magic, Deb, is what you've been creating on Twitter. A lot of people have said Twitter is dead. If you think Twitter is dead, you need to be following Deb on Twitter and seeing what she's doing, because Twitter is not dead. Twitter is actually one of my best lead sources for social, outperforms Instagram 10-1. And it's all about how you cultivate that connection with people in the Twitterverse. I get 90% of my media coverage from connections made on Twitter. It's a very powerful place. Who else? I'd love to hear from each of you if you feel like sharing. Lou, sorry, I forgot you were next.
Okay, email, I know it's not glamorous. It gets kind of a bad rap, but it is the bread and butter of an online business like ours. So, but I would piggyback on that and say, if you do want to make it a little bit more glamorous, you can do video email. And I get a huge open rate and a lot of traction when I just do these quick little one-to-one videos on Loom and things like that. So video email is a way to make that email even more powerful.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I've personally witnessed that too. The video, personal video inside an email can, especially in follow-up sequences, really, really moves people into action. So thank you for sharing that. Sam, Maruxa, you guys want to add anything? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right now we have been, I'm going to say Facebook group. It is what I teach, but it is honestly, I have to practice what I preach for sure. And it has been one of the most powerful authority platforms for us even still. I know a lot of people are like, well, it's Facebook still work? How does it work? And really what I believe is that when it is designed correctly, not just, hey, create group and start, but when you're like really looking at the values, the vision, the voice that you want to bring, and then how you want to partner, whichever offer it is that you want to bring into the process, that can be used very, very intentionally and powerfully as an authority driving tool. So I would suggest definitely Facebook groups are still very much in and very much lucrative.
And good lead generators when you do it right. I know
Yes.
Jen really uses her Facebook group really well too, and has multiple groups now. Sam, we'll wrap this one with you.
I think that every single person has hit the nail on the head. It's the Facebook group, it's the email, it's it's your personal profile, but it's how they all work together. So when you do a Facebook Live, you let people know in your Facebook group, you remind them through the email, and it's how you bring the whole lot together so that you're trying to pass people through so that you're creating that entire network, because all of these things work, but when you use them together, it like puts it on steroids. And then if you add another layer on, very, very specific in your message. So instead of, just saying, I help florists get more clients, I help florists to get hired for, more weddings next Saturday, then all of a sudden you're really getting that message right to the core. So I think that all of that just lifts the game a little bit.
So glad you brought up the specificity, because remember when we were talking about the revenue rush roadmap before break, specificity sells. It really does. Okay. I think it's going to probably be time for our last question, and I want to make sure everybody has a chance to offer it. So if you were to be back at the beginning of your business or at any time where cash was crunched, what are 1 to 2 things you would do to get cash flowing quickly? Sam, you want to jump in on that one first?
Yep. Number one, and I wouldn't recommend this for sort of down the track all the time, but for an instant cash, always offer VIP days. Offer that one-on-one service, which is I teach group. I'm very much about group training, but if you're at a crunch and you need bills paid today, offer VIP service. That is the fastest way to bring cash in.
And I promise I did not pay Sam to say that. That was a big part of our focus this morning, was talking about VIP days. I promise she didn't even know we were talking about it. So thank you for reinforcing that message. All right, who wants to jump in next?
I'll jump in.
Maruxa, then Jen.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I would absolutely say, really listen to what people need. And if you know that you can provide that and provide value as a service, maybe they need, some support with, maybe you're really good at email marketing and you have space in your calendar to, you need money now. So maybe you can help set up the email marketing systems on whatever platform, right? So whatever it is that we're good at, we can start connecting and seeing what value you can offer to folks that are right there around you. Money is all around us. This is one of my mottos. So I believe that people around you probably need some level of support. And if you can offer that service, then great.
Love it. Thank you. Jen.
Yeah, I agree with Sam that the discovery call to VIP system, that whole system, is the quickest way to start bringing in revenue within 30 days. I mean, that's the quickest way. It's the lowest tech, and it's the easiest to learn and easiest to set up quickly. But the other thing too, though, I would say is affiliate marketing. So if you don't have your own product set up yet, you can use your email list or even just be in a group or just share that link wherever you are, wherever your people are, wherever you've started to connect, and share an affiliate link from someone that you've signed up with, whether it's a collaborator like any of us here, or just, go into one of the systems that offers affiliate products and start that way.
And I'm so glad you brought that up. I just want to add on to that. When I was first starting my business, and before I really had my offers nailed down, I had started to build a list, and I made about a quarter of my revenue from affiliate income every month. And it was a big part of me stabilizing my cash flow for a long time. And I have affiliate checks from vendors that I've been getting for 10 years. So it can be a really, really valuable piece of like the sand in between your bigger rock revenue strategies. So thanks for bringing that one in. Who hasn't gone yet that wants to answer? Lou?
That's a great point, Melanie, about the affiliate stuff. And like Jen said, if I don't have something that I'm promoting in a given week, or if I'm not doing something on my own, I always want to make sure that I'm supporting an affiliate, because it's kind of found money. And like you said, for me, affiliate stuff is probably 25% of my revenue at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to, anything else that you tend to do for go-to?
I like to do challenges, like quick 10-day video challenge, Facebook challenge. People seem to really respond to those. And again, they may not be big ticket items, but you can get a lot of people in quickly and build a lot of enthusiasm. And I find that a lot of my one-on-one people have been in a challenge first because they've been able to spend a few weeks with you.
Do you charge for your challenges, or is that a freebie that
Once in a while I do them for free, but typically I have some low cost, $27, $47, so that they have skin in the game.
Love that. That's a great strategy. These low cost offers that build momentum into something else. Deb, want to add anything?
That's it.
Sure. And I think I've done all of these at one point or another, and also a leveraged offer like a paid workshop. So whether it's a half a day or a full day or something that you can do that's just something you've done a million times and you can offer to a larger group and tap into the email list, of course first, but also maybe generate some new leads that way as well.
Yeah, love it. All right. Well, you guys are super speedy. So I got a couple more questions for you, if you don't mind. Can I keep you for a few more minutes? Everybody good? So this is a question that somebody asked, and I'm just interpreting it a little bit here. If you were going to delegate something to help you grow your business faster, what would it be? Or what is the first thing you delegated? That's really the question they asked. What's the first thing you delegated? I'll answer for me. And how I would answer that today is different than what I did in the beginning. But the very first thing I got off my plate was all the tech, because I was like, I don't know tech. I'm not going to learn tech. And if I have to do the tech, it's never going to get done. So I got all the tech off my plate first. Today, actually, that's still what I would say is I would get the tech off. And I am constantly looking at where am I spending time that is burning time away from my superpower. So if I'm doing something in the business that's keeping me from spending more time in my superpower, that's the thing I get off my plate. Anybody? Yeah, Sam, and then Maruxa.
I love that you said superpower, because I was going to say delegation is my superpower.
It
I don't
truly
like
is.
to do I don't like to do anything that's outside of my zone of genius. But a really great place to start is hate, because it's going to be different for everyone. Because the thing that you really don't like to do is the thing that generally takes you 10 times longer than anyone else. So it might be your bookkeeping, it might be your tech, it might be your your writing, it might be your videos, whatever it is, just that one thing that you really don't like, that takes you a really long time. Start there. You'll get the taste for it and you'll just keep going into other areas.
Nice. Thank you. Maruxa?
Yeah, I think this is a great question, because it's really an opportunity to get to know yourself and what it is that really is your superpower, allowing yourself to own that. When I started to recognize that, for me, I realized speaking, creating collaborations, selling, being the salesperson, of my company was the primary best places for me to spend my time, and fulfillment were the best places out of all the other things I had to get time. So the first thing I did, which actually tripled our business once I finally let go of it, was having someone organize all of my systems. So onboarding new clients, offboarding clients, going through those processes that it was just like, why am I doing this again? I have to I felt like I was custom making it every single time. So the minute that fell off my plate, I was like, I'm free as a bird. Let's keep going. So it's giving yourself permission to really embrace that superpower within you and just saying fully, yes, this is what I'm going to do.
Nice.
Those are mine.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I will say that unlike Sam, delegation is not my superpower. It's my Achilles heel. And it took me a really long time to be able to let go of things. And I think maybe it's a guy thing, like guys don't like to ask for directions and guys don't like to admit they can't do stuff or whatever. But when I finally started to offload some of the admin stuff, it was like a new business.
Yeah. It stops feeling oppressive and it starts feeling fun again, doesn't it? Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Deb?
I can relate to that, Lou, too, because I like to learn new things and I like to understand something before I hand it off. And that can really be a big drawback a lot of the times. But I do find that the more I can trust that someone will do it, and also the way that I would like it done without being over helicopter-ish about it, but also because it's my brand. And when people come in to support our brand, we need it to be done in a way that feels aligned. So one of the biggest things I did was to get support around my group program about the routine things that I was doing myself, the reminder emails and things like that, that it's just a joy to be able to just step in and teach and train and support without doing all of that back end stuff. Mm-hmm. So the more that I was able to outline what those steps are, which is the first point for me, I could really hand it over and feel good about, that happening.
Love it. Jen, you want to add anything? Or you?
I don't know if my way is the most recommended way. I really have had a hard time letting go of large chunks. So I document everything. Everything has an SOP and I maintain them. I'm very specific. And so I will identify very, very, very specific tasks within that rather than handing off a whole SOP. I find it saves me money that way. And also, I guess it's just my personality. I like to learn a full process myself so that I know the pieces that I'm going to enjoy and the other pieces that I can hand off. So it's very, very precise. And so I don't know if that would work for everybody, but that's
well, you know what I love about you bringing this up is there are multiple ways to get to outsourcing and delegating. And what works for Sam works differently for Jen, which works differently for me. And so what I want you to kind of really take from this particular segment is that if you are doing all the things and you are not getting stuff off your plate, chances are you're not spending enough time in your superpower. And your superpower is what grows the business. There's a beautiful quote from Timothy Ferriss, and I don't remember if it was in his book or I just heard him say it somewhere, but he was reflecting on a question he gets asked, and he's like, but man, it's expensive to get this off my plate, or can I afford to get this off my plate? And his response was, how can you afford not to? Your job is not to do it all. Your job is to do the things that only you can do. And when you're delegating everything else, you're freeing yourself up to do the things that only you can do to grow the business. And that always stuck with me is there will be things you're like, how on earth am I going to pay somebody to do this? And if you're not spending enough time in your superpower, which is the propeller, it's the rocket booster of your business, then you're spending time on things that are holding you back. And I probably need to say that to myself just as much as I say that to anybody else, right? So that is a great one. So what I'd love to do is just do a round of what's one thing you wanted to share but haven't yet today on the panel about strategy and amplifying your authority in the world. And if you could just share how people can find you. So just 1 or 2 sentences. Anybody want to jump in first? One thing you wish you would have been asked and haven't been able to share yet, and where people can find you. And while you're getting your thoughts together, the question had come up from some of the VIPs, like, oh my God, I didn't know we were going to close access to the gifts. Is it still possible? So I told everybody about the little sheet opportunity to go use the QR codes in the action guide. Is it okay with you guys? Does somebody still access your gifts? Okay. All right, just tell me if not, we'll like put you on the no list, but it sounds like everybody's good with it. All right, so anybody want to jump in?
Melanie, I know for me, as an introvert, it's not the first thing I think of to do collaborations, but the old expression, we can do more together than we can alone, has never been more true than during the pandemic. And I'm grateful for partners like you and Maruxa and all the folks that I've worked with over the last year, because the collaboration piece has been a lifesaver.
I'm so glad you shared that, Lou. I feel the same way. And Lou and I have probably known each other the longest of anybody. And this was our first time really finding a great collaboration together. So grateful to activate that energy between us. Lou, how can people find you?
You can find me at loubortone.com, or you can email me at vip@loubortone.com.
Ooh, so that means you guys are all VIPs today. Well done. Maruxa, you want to go next?
Sure. I see Rhonda in the chat saying that's where innovation comes from. And I love that word innovation. It's one of my favorite words. And I think going to what Lou said about collaborations being the most crucial part of growing businesses, especially today, I think, kind of tying everything that we've been talking about together, for me, one of the things that's really showing up is opportunities with the right collaborators allow for innovation to show up massively. But it takes a minute to do that, right? So don't try to rush collaborations. Get to know your people, get to know them, and see what makes them come alive and what makes you come alive in that opportunity to get to know each other. And then from that, see what organically, naturally can be possible. And I think, even, Melanie, you and I reconnected after years, and it's just so fun to see how a conversation led us to this opportunity to work together, and hopefully many more opportunities as well.
Thank you for saying that. I just have to add on to that. So Maruxa and I have also known each other for years. We would bump into each other at events. We had a more intentional conversation at the last event right before the pandemic shut us down, but it was a social media post that had me reach out. And so remember that lurkers are often where your opportunities are. When you're posting on social and staying visible, you never know who's actually paying attention, who would never comment, but they needed to see and hear what you posted that day. Okay, so that was what kind of moved me into action to say, oh my God, she's talking about creating your own economy. I have to reach out to her. So just trust that people are seeing what they need to see. All right, who'd like to go next? Jen, Sam, then Deb.
Hey, Melanie, you do such a great job with your giveaways and collaborations. And I just want to say thank you for bringing together all these beautiful people. I mean, you do such a great job. You are a master collaborator, and you've definitely been one of the key collaborators that has been a good example. And, someone that we've really been able to help each other. And because we've both learned and we both know, and I know that I am confident that you know about collaboration, and that working alone, being an island, doesn't work. And we've learned that, and we know that. And so having this feeling of collaboration through everything you do, let it be a thread that runs through everything, your email, your social, all your connections. Always have it present and ready, and be conscious and make a decision that you're going to approach everything with a collaborative attitude rather than any feelings of competition. Just drop competition, leave it, drop it, walk away, pick up collaboration, and then move forward with that.
I just got chills. Thank you for sharing that, Jen. And I that might have just felt like an echo, because we literally just talked about that. So I'm so grateful you brought it back into the conversation. How can people, Maruxa, did you get to share how people, put it in the chat, or everybody, just put how people can connect with you so everybody will be able to write it down. Jen, thank you so much. I think it was Sam, then Deb.
So obviously this is a systems panel, so I'm going to take a little bit of a different route here. I think that thinking about growth and growing our business, the fastest way to do that is systems. Absolutely systemize everything, because when you systemize everything you do, it means that your brand is showing up in the same way all the time. And that's going to get you known a lot faster. It will have people referring you faster because people know what you do. You're going to have a great client experience, client journey. So everything that you do in your business, either you create the system, or as I do in my business, because even though I love systems, I hate creating them, my team does. So anything that is done more than 2 times, they create the system, and we've got a huge portal. So I thoroughly recommend systems. They don't sound very sexy, but they are the fun. And you can find me either on the Thought Leaders Business Lab podcast or at samanthariley.global.
Thank you. And before we hit our last person, I just want to check in with you as you're listening in. Was there an aha? Was there something that was a great learning for you hearing it from the panel? Feel free to jump into the chat and share with our panel. I know it means a lot to them to know that something they shared here today was meaningful to you. So that'd be a great gift for them. Deb.
We've talked a lot about connections leading to collaboration. And I think one of the biggest takeaways for me, and the thing that has worked the most for me, is to not just wait for the collaborations to find you. Don't just sit back and hope that someone you've been chatting with or will ask you when they do their next summit or their next giveaway. Create an environment where that's more natural, where you let it be known what it is you're looking for, where you give first so that then they may also think of you if it's the right fit, and make those connections happen. Go out there online and more than looking to create and push out content, step into the content that's there and the conversations that are there, because as Melanie, you were saying earlier, people are watching. They're watching what you're doing out there, and they see when you're sharing other people's stuff, when you're supporting someone else, when you're asking, how is that going? What happened with your family member who was sick? And you can't fake that, but if you're someone who's led to do that, let that be part of what you do with your online presence, because it really is super easy. And it's something I think we tend to kind of shut off if we think it's not professional or business-like, but really it opens the doors to collaborations.
Yeah, well said. I think there's something about connection in general. The more authentic place you come from, the more the energy and the vibration expands around it. I am very tuned into when people are being authentic in their connection, and I think it is a treasure. So thank you for bringing that forward, Deb. Panel, thank you so much. Big round of applause. Let's give them a big round of applause. Well done, everybody. So Carolyn's asking, who is the person who works with women attorneys? Oh, well, you're going to get to find that out in a minute, Carolyn. That's Sharon right here in she's waving her hands right now. Tracy's saying, love this. Thanks, everyone. Confirmed so many reasons to collaborate and got some new ideas on my super panel. Sarah said, thank you. Amazing panel. So many good tips and direction. So we're about ready to go into some live collaboration currency pods. I know I'm just throwing at you last minute panel, but if anybody feels like, you know what, I want to stay, you're welcome to join us. It's about a half hour, no pressure. I know I'm catching you in the middle of your day. So, but if anybody's like, I'm going to stay, you're welcome to join us for it. And for those of you that are having to go on, thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your time and talent. Thank you for being a part of everything. Really appreciate and value each and every one of you. And can't wait for more collaboration currencies to be activated. So bye, everybody. All right. So room, we are about ready to dig in to our collaboration currency pods. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be putting you in groups. But before we do that, let me remind you where we're going and check in and see if anybody has any questions. Because what I want to do is make sure you go into this feeling clear, and you might not have all the pieces and parts, but I just want to make sure that you feel like you can at least go into this open and ready to create some valuable synergy. So remember, if nothing else, be curious, right? Like if nothing else, just be curious, find out about the other person. You can share, I'm not exactly sure yet, but if you know exactly what you want, that's awesome too. So what we're going to do is you're going to introduce yourself. And it's the 1 minute version, not the 20-minute version. Okay, so 1 minute version. And Amanda, could you do me a favor and check on the count? So I have a sense of how many people we have to put into groups. So I know I'm thinking 4 or 5 people per group. So if you could let me know what our count is, we'll finalize the count. Introduce yourself in a sentence. And the idea is, my name is this. I create this outcome, or I do this work for these kinds of people. Okay, so that's,
there's 7.
7. Okay, so what we're going to do is a group of 4 and a group of 3. And then halfway through, what we're going to do is we're going to mix you up and give you another chance to connect with some more people. And then the second thing is, what's your ask? So what is it that you want for yourself right now? So what would, and I would say focus on visibility or some kind of a collaboration that you'd like to create right now. And when we went through it before, remember, it could be, I'd like to be a guest expert. I'm looking for these kind of platforms, or it could be, you know, what is it that, it could be that you're looking for opportunities to be featured on stages, whatever it is for you. You know, I'm looking for some to do some of my own collaborations, get on, webinars, something of that nature. And then the last is share something you can do to support. And if there's nothing else, like if you don't have a podcast or you don't have a platform of some kind, you don't have a Facebook group or something of that nature, if you don't have an email list that you could showcase people, then be open to making referrals. So the go-to is I'm opening to helping people make connections. And so I'm just going to be listening to what you need. So let me check in. Does anybody have questions about how you are going to move through this? Anything you need clarified? Yeah, good. Okay. So what we're going to do, so we're going to do a group of, what did I say? A group of 4 and a group of 3. You each get 5 minutes. And then what we're going to do is, I think we're going to try and mix the group up and do another round. So we'll do 2 rounds for you. So it'll be just a little bit longer than 30 minutes. And is everybody committed to going into one of the pods? Yep. Okay, good. Great job, Eric. All right, friends. Amanda's going to put you in groups. If you end up in a group and you don't have an active group somehow, just raise your hand or pop back into the main room and we'll reassign you. Okay. All right. Have fun.